love will always find a way. And I think sometimes that we have to remember that when it's really sticky and it's really hard, is that, if it's meant to be and love is the driving force behind it, I think it will be in the end.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back. Did y'all see that? What?
Let's just throw Scream 6 in there for
It was good.
Movie. It was really good. The best of the franchise, in my opinion, since the first one.
Yeah. What's up, guys? Oh my goodness. Welcome back to ITCAFpodcast for episode 296.
Woo!
And you guys know your host with the most, myself, J. Logan Austin, aka J-Lo Fantastic, and of course, Dustin M. Bergman, aka The Mouth.
What's up?
Man, oh man, we're super excited about today's industry news and the guest and the top 5 and anything and everything that we have going on here at Crazy Ant Media. Oh my goodness. But before we dive into all of that, we have to take care of some business first. Please be sure to leave a rating on this podcast. Comment below and tell us what you actually think about the show. Because if you didn't know, leaving a rating on the podcast helps more people find this specific show. And word of mouth. I mean, that's what we do, man. It's all about spreading the love. So please be sure to leave a rating, comment, all the good things. Tell your friends, tell your mom, tell that aunt that you haven't talked to in a while. We're a good starting point. So if you talk about what we talk about, it definitely helps get the conversation going. That is for sure. But man, oh man, there is a lot happening in the entertainment news this week, and one of them being Rhiannon Fish coming back on ITCAFpodcast and getting crazy with us once again, talking about her film that came out, Polar Opposites, and then a new one that's also going to come out on Hallmark. Man, oh man, super excited to dive all into that, right, Dustin?
Absolutely, man. And as always, she gets a little deep on life. Because that's what we do on this show. we don't just bring you the entertainment, we bring you life. Oh, man, and dude, you nailed it. We have got a lot going on. Some surprising moves that a lot of people are hammering and they're not happy about. But me, I'm really happy about it. We're going to tell you all about why and what I'm talking about and just so much more, man. We've got some movement from the studios going on and yeah, it's some really interesting stuff. And another lawsuit. Just unreal, man. I can't wait to dive in. This is gonna be a good one.
It is Memorial Day weekend. We're super excited about that. Hopefully that means good numbers for the box office. So we're going to be rocking and rolling, talking all about that. But before we jump into all the nitty gritty news, of course, be sure to visit our website, www.crazyantmedia.com, where you can start rocking the latest and greatest Crazy Ant Media gear. We also have shirts, we have hats, we have sweatshirts, phone cases, tumblers, basically anything you need for your merchandise needs, you can find it there at crazyantmedia.com. And then you can also find out more about our projects. We are filmmakers, so we got a lot going on.
Oh my goodness.
We have our mental health podcast. We got our projects. We have our personal bios on there, so you can get to know us a little bit more here at Crazy Ant Media. So be sure to check all of that out. But like I mentioned a little bit earlier, it is Memorial Day weekend and the box office. What's going to happen? We do know that Disney's live action Lilo and Stitch, and then of course Paramount and Skydance's last, quote unquote, last Mission Impossible is coming out this weekend. Now, hoping for a huge Memorial Day weekend at the box office, Lilo and Stitch has made $14.5 million at the box office in previews, while Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning has earned about 8.3. Now, The Final Reckoning's preview haul is the franchise's best ever, beating the $7 million that Dead Reckoning Part 1, formerly known as, made in 2023. Lilo and Stitch now holds the record for the year's highest preview haul. Disney's live-action remake, produced by Rideback, is expected to rule the box office this weekend, though, with some massive $150 to $160 million over the 4-day holiday weekend. though some projections are even higher. That would be great for the Mouse House. This film is projected to make another 125 million in international box office numbers, bringing the worldwide opening to an impressive 275 million to about 285 million. Of course, they always like to predict low so they can look good. Tom Cruise's eighth and seemingly last Mission Impossible entry is on track to make about 75 to 85 million and is on track to add 125 to 130 million internationally for another opening weekend that's going to do big numbers for him, and that is above $200 million for a strong second place, combined with a stellar holdover performance from Warner Brothers' Final Destination Bloodlines, and then, of course, Sinners. The Memorial Day box office could hit a record high for the entertainment industry. It will be a huge rebound from last year's Memorial Day weekend, which did suffer its lowest frame in about 30 years.
Yeah.
So we're hoping good things for the cinemas and box office, man. I definitely think they're going to make record-breaking numbers this year.
Without doubt. This one is headed for a massive 4-day haul. And I mean, look, your top two movies are going to make more than $500 million alone over the 4 days. That's huge. And it's interesting because Tom Cruise and Paramount and them, they were smart. They opened this and everybody thought, well, but I think they settled. They knew it was going to be a second place finish, but they're okay with that because it looks like from early numbers, they are targeting the 26 and over crowd because they knew the crowd would be massive young for Lilo and Stitch, which was a smart move. They knew there was an audience to capture there, and they're going for it. And I love that. And I can't wait to see. I'm going to be a part of that record-setting box office Memorial Day weekend, I hope. And I'm excited, man. I haven't been this excited in a while for the box office. It looks like it's going to be really strong, you know?
Yes, most definitely. And finally, it is a pick of mine that I actually picked for my box office draft. And with these record-breaking, hopefully, numbers, it's going to do very well. I'm keeping my fingers crossed, man. But Disney has some news that we're not excited about, too.
No, I'm not. I'm not happy about this one. But I am happy about this one. I'm not happy because it means I have to wait a little longer. But let me explain why I am happy. What the hell are we talking about? Well, it looks like the Avengers won't be assembling as soon as we thought they would be. Yep, Disney has delayed the release of Marvel Studios' upcoming team-up features, Avengers Doomsday and Avengers Secret Wars. Now, Doomsday is now set to debut on December 18th, 2026, which is about 7 months off its original slated date of May 1st of 2026. To match, the follow-up Avengers Secret Wars is also moving its release date to December 17th of 2027 after previously being set for May 7th of 2027. Now, Disney announced both of the Avengers delays this week alongside a sweeping reorganization of its coming theatrical slate. So those weren't the only movies. Notably, though, the new calendar saw the studio remove several unannounced Marvel titles off of the calendar altogether. The date of February 13th, 2026, previously slotted for an untitled Marvel project, has now been removed from the schedule. Meanwhile, the dates of November 6th, 2026 and November 5th of 2027, also both previously set for Marvel features, have been emptied to simply untitled Disney films. Now, with those changes, Avengers Doomsday and Sony's Spider-Man Brand New Day are the only Marvel Cinematic Universe entries slated to hit next year, which is interesting. Also of note, the new pre-holiday December frame for both Avengers installments is the same one that Spider-Man No Way Home launched in 2021, which became, of course, one of the franchise's highest-grossing installments with nearly $2 billion worldwide. Additionally, there is now no Marvel feature. Get this, this is hard to believe. No Marvel movie slated to release between the Fantastic Four First Steps on July 25th and the fourth Spider-Man movie on July 31st, 2026, more than a year later. That's right, boys and girls, we're going to have to go a whole year without a Marvel movie. Now, it'll be the biggest gap between feature films since the COVID era, when it was 2019 Spider-Man Far From Home, and you had to wait until 2021 for Black Widow. I love this. And let me tell you why. This goes to everything Bob Iger and Kevin Feige said when Bob Iger came back. Quality over quantity. In the statement, they basically said, we need a little bit more time on this gargantuan film because it's a lot of work. Yes, I love that. Guys, they are committed to bringing it back to the MCU standards that we're all used to, that we want to see. They understand how important that is. And I'm glad they took a couple of more of those Marvel film slots away. That just means they really are focused on quality. They want to make sure this stuff is what we expect it to be. So calm down. Social media was blowing up. Oh, it's in trouble. It must be bad. Maybe it's going to suck. Marvel's done, blah, blah, blah. No, they're just going to get... I mean, Doomsday and Secret Wars are going to star like 475 people. It takes a little time to get that right. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, most definitely. And I think this is a good thing, especially when I bet one of those time slots was for Blade, the freaking film that we've been waiting on for since I don't even know. I feel like it's been 6 or 7 years, and they still haven't been able to finish out a script on that one. So I mean, it only makes sense, and they're doing the right thing because I mean, with the success of Thunderbolts, I feel like you have to continue moving forward with a fresh set of new opportunities and new things that can come their way for the MCU. But I mean, speaking of that reorganization of the studio slate of movies, we told you last July that the sequel to the 2006 comedy The Devil Wears Prada was officially in works at Disney. Now, the studio has now officially set a May 1st of 2026 theatrical release date for the follow-up. Also among Disney's scheduling amendments, Ridley Scott's post-apocalyptic The Dog Stars, starring Jacob Elordi, Josh Brolin, and Margaret Qualley, is set to open March 27th of 2026. Now, meanwhile, the studio has also set an October 3rd theatrical re-release of the Avatar: The Way of Water in IMAX/3D. Now, ahead of Avatar: Fire and Ash on December 19th, in 2022, the studio issued a similar re-release of the 2009 original Avatar in anticipation for the release of The Way of Water. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is exactly why I will win the box office draft. Because we will never be able to close the draft because James Cameron and Disney keeps re-releasing this bad boy. I don't have a problem with it, but we will have a cutoff date. I'm just kidding. This only makes sense. This is, with this franchise, with this world that James keeps trying to tell, it only makes sense. I wish Marvel and Kevin Feige would do something like this, right? Like have the movies that directly tie into the next big team-up film, play at the box office for select times before big ones come out. So this only makes sense.
Yeah, no, totally. And Marvel has done that, but not as an official re-release. They do it like in one day where you can watch a marathon. But who does that? Some of those movies are over like almost 3 hours long. Nobody's going to go and sit and watch 28 films leading into the new one in one day. I'm with you. I wish they would do a sporadic re-release leading up to, I agree with you. A couple of interesting things I see there, though. The Devil Wears Prada is taking Avengers Doomsday's place. That's what they just put into that. And I was just thinking, Warner Brothers and Marvel are going to go head-to-head because the new date for Doomsday, Dune Messiah, they're opening on the same day. That's going to be really interesting. I think that hurts Dune. I'm just going to say.
Yeah, it does. I mean, Warner... it also, I don't know, because hopefully they turn that into a big, massive, marketing thing like they did with Barbenheimer, that they tried to do with Wicked and Gladiator. But, because those are two massive franchises. I would say Marvel hit its peak in the 2000 teens, I would say, because I mean, with their rockiness, I don't think it's as big. But I mean, Dune right now, it's a pretty massive franchise. So this is going to be a great competition. Like I said, I hope they do a great marketing campaign between the two films that'll help draw people in to see both of them.
It would be interesting. I would like to see that as well, but I'm going to go on record right now so we can play this back at some point later on. Warner Brothers will back down and they will move Dune Messiah. They'll switch the weekend. I don't think they want to go head to head with Doomsday. I'm just going to say that. Just to put it on the record. Also, this is really cool news. I'm kind of really excited about this one. Apparently, Conan O'Brien, yes, Conan O'Brien has been cast as the voice of Smarty Pants in Disney and Pixar's Toy Story 5, due in theaters June 19th of 2026. Now, this is, of course, the 5th entry in the animated franchise, which sees Buzz, Woody, Jesse, and the rest of the gang's jobs challenged after being introduced to what kids are obsessed with today: electronics. The film is directed by Oscar-winning filmmaker Andrew Stanton and co-directed by McKenna Harris. The new Toy Story movie will largely focus on, get this, not Woody and Buzz, but Jessie. Yep, the cowgirl first introduced in Toy Story 2 and memorably voiced by, of course, the one and only and lovely Joan Cusack. That's interesting. That's going to be a shift in the focal point, which will be really interesting to see. But I love Conan O'Brien. Conan O'Brien is just straight up crazy. So the idea that he's going to be playing a toy named Smarty Pants, perfect.
Yeah, I do think that's a great casting decision. So that's fun. I'm excited to see what comes out of Toy Story 5. That's awesome. But it looks like it's going to be staying hot up in this kitchen for the chefs for The Bear.
Uh-oh.
That's right. The season 4 trailer dropped, and it shows Ciro, who is Oliver Platt, playing Carmy, who is, of course, Jeremy Allen White, on the clock. And he's on the clock, literally, after revealing at the end of season 3 that his finances has taken a major hit. Cicero tells Carmy that once time runs out on the new clock in the kitchen, the restaurant will be out of money and forced to shut down. Now, the series left off in season 3 with Carmy and the company finally opening The Bear, the fine dining establishment that evolved out of The Beef, which was the greasy sandwich spot that Carmy inherited from his late brother, of course, played by John Berthel. The season ended with Carmy reading a mixed review of the restaurant and screaming, "Motherfucker!" into the void. As previously announced, season 4 of The Bear will premiere all 10 episodes on June 25th. I'm super excited about that. Hopefully it will continue moving forward, and hopefully we can save the damn restaurant, right?
Yes, yes. I love this show. I don't want it to go anywhere. I know Jeremy Allen and a ton of the other cast members are getting busy. They're like everywhere. You can't watch anything without seeing one of them. But please, just shoot in between hiatuses, keep the show going, because the show's great. And we're not kidding. It's a literal giant clock that Cicero has put in the kitchen. A countdown clock, if you watch the trailer. There's no pressure there, none whatsoever. Hey, I know you are excited about this one, and so are a lot of people, I bet. Zach Braff may soon be scrubbing back into Sacred Heart. Why? Because he is on board now officially to reprise the role of JD in a reboot of Scrubs being developed at ABC. Now, here's the bad news. Braff, so far, is the only cast member currently confirmed to be attached to the reboot. The reboot was first reported by us and many other outlets back in last December, with the original series creator Bill Lawrence serving as executive producer, but not showrunner. Lawrence, Braff, and other Scrubs alum have discussed the idea of a reboot for years, but here's why it hasn't happened up until now. It couldn't go into motion until after negotiations between Disney, which owns the property, and Warner Brothers Television, where Lawrence had an overall deal, finished their shit. They had to get it straight so that we were like, okay, we're going to allow you to do this. We're going to allow you to do that. So apparently that happened, and it's moving forward, and Braff's on board. Can you do it without the rest of them, though? I guarantee we'll be talking about it soon that they're all jumping on board.
Yeah, completely agree. And I mean, they're not really doing anything. I mean, if you go back and look at the alumni of the original Scrubs, they're
T-Mobile commercials.
Yeah,
together,
which they're playing off of Scrubs. So
exactly.
It's so funny, man. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see, that's for sure. Well, we're jumping over to the bunny, Warner Brothers Discovery, where James Gunn's Superman movie is facing a lawsuit again. Yep, the Man of Steel co-creator Joe Shuster estate has reportedly filed a new lawsuit in an attempt to once again seek an injunction to block Warner Brothers from exploiting Superman in the UK, Ireland, Canada, and Australia, where the estate is disputing copyright ownership due to the country's specific copyright laws. Now, the estate's previous Superman movie lawsuit was dismissed back in April. Warner Brothers Discovery has been ordered by the New York Supreme Court to submit opposition papers by today, May 23rd, the day of this recording, before they appeared in court on June 4th, where they would have to explain why the injunction should not be granted. Again, sounds just like more shit to stir up in the tabloids so that this film does not open well.
Yeah, this guy, listen, man, I get it, but this is the same exact lawsuit that he's trying again that he lost in April. And look, guys, this is not the first one. Man of Steel had a similar lawsuit again. The Superman character and these films have faced lawsuit after lawsuit after lawsuit from the family, from the creators. They've lost every single one. This is an unwinnable case. You have no shot. They will continue to rule against you. Just stop. Just move on. It's over. I'm sorry. As someone who knows, trust me, I know, but it's over. You have to move on. It's not good for Superman. It's not good for Superman fans. And I'm sure at this point, your family members are rolling over in the grave. Look, man, they understood they made a mistake. They settled before they died. They made peace with it. They moved on. Time for you to also, because this is getting embarrassing. Just stop. That's all I'm saying. Now, despite Mr. Schuster's lawsuit, again, Warner Brothers is now definitely starting. It's funny because we talked about this last week about where is it? Well, now they answered us. They are ramping up marketing for the film. 2 new official posters were released this week, which was really cool. It was kind of a transition poster, which was badass, along with a new image of Superman in his full suit at the entrance of the Fortress of Solitude. And this is pretty cool. Get this, you guys. A handful of lucky DC fans will have a chance to attend the world premiere. So on June 18th, DC is publishing a replica edition reprint of 1955's Adventure Comics issue 210. Why is that important? Because that was Krypto's official comic debut. If the fans open the issue and find Krypto's golden biscuit sticker inside, it means they are a prize winner. Now, there are 2 grand prizes in total, each of which would consist of a 3-day, 2-night trip for the winner and 1 guest to the world premiere of Superman in Los Angeles on Monday, July 7th. I love it. I love that. They said they were going to push like a big, huge Barbie marketing campaign, and I had been waiting. Like, where the fuck is it? We're only a couple of months out. But here we come. It's starting. You're seeing commercials everywhere. They're working the dog biscuit commercial with Krypto. They're playing it, and I'm thrilled because I think this thing's going to do huge. It's looking good. Early numbers are tracking really well for it, and I'm excited, man.
Yeah, completely agree. It's a bird, it's a plane, no, it's a golden dog biscuit. That's what we're looking for.
Because as we mentioned, the movie is clearly all about Krypto. They're making no doubt about it. Superman, but Krypto.
But Krypto. That's right. Well, Joey King is in talks to star in Practical Magic 2 alongside Sandra Bullock and Nicole Kidman, of course. She's reportedly playing the daughter of Bullock's character. Now, Bullock and Kidman are reprising their roles as Sally and Gillian Owens, the 2 sisters who ascended from a long line of witches. Now, in the original 1998 movie, the duo finds themselves fighting off a curse that kills the men that they fall in love with. Now, plot details about the second film have yet to be revealed, though sources say that the story is based on a later installment of Alice Hoffman's Practical Magic book series. Now, the film is aiming to start production in London later this summer. Warner Brothers Discovery will release a witchy sequel in theaters on September 18th of 2026. And I literally just watched the original like a week or two ago, and I loved it. I
Yeah.
think it's going to be a great sequel, and I'm hoping to see some of that magic that they brought to the first one.
No, I love the first film. And how old is the first film? I was younger than you currently are now when that first film came out.
Yep.
That's a long time ago for a big span in between sequels. But I, like you, I loved the first one. I thought it was an original take. It was a cool witch story, and I thought a good adaptation from the books. And so, yeah, a lot of big stuff hoping for the sequel. Guess what else? Guess who else is back? Not just the witches, y'all. Pennywise is back. And this time, he's haunting your living rooms. HBO Max has released the first trailer for Welcome to Derry, the It prequel series that is set to debut this fall. Now, Welcome to Derry is set 27 years before the events of the two It movies, which were adapted from Stephen King's iconic horror novel by director Andy Muschietti. Now, as the story goes, the murderous entity feeds on children before hibernating for 27 years. So the show follows its previous killing spree before the events of the It films. Now, Bill Skarsgård is, of course, back as Pennywise, and the Welcome to Derry cast also includes Taylor Page, Jovan Adepo, Chris Chalk, James Remar, Steven Ryder, Madeline Stowe, and Rudy Mancuso. The trailer was creepy as hell. I loved the two movies. I thought they were fantastic. I think since all the same people are behind this, I'm seeing big things for this. I think this is going to do really well, and I'm all in on it.
Yeah, completely agree. And Bill Skarsgård is completely different, even from his counterparts that he is in literal family with.
Yeah,
he has multiple different brothers who are also in the entertainment industry. His dad, who is a part of the Dune franchise and many other big things. But this man, he is okay with sitting in that makeup chair for hours.
Apparently.
Okay? If y'all didn't know, he was Dracula in Nosferatu as well.
Yeah.
So this man is fine with sitting in that chair. So kudos to him, and he's really building an interesting resume for his legacy. So I'm happy to see it, man, and I'm super excited for this show. I'm gonna watch the hell out of it.
Me
That's
too.
for sure.
Me too.
Well, we're heading over to NBC Universal, where they released the second trailer for the upcoming Dino action film, also on my box office draft, Jurassic World Rebirth. The film starring a whole new cast, including Scarlett Johansson, Mahershala Ali, and Jonathan Bailey from Bridgerton. Now, this marks the seventh entry in the prehistoric franchise and picks up 5 years after the events of Jurassic World's Dominion. Jurassic World Rebirth stomps into theaters like a T-Rex on July 2nd. So be sure to head out to that. Get your popcorn, get your dinosaur bones, and all the good things.
That one's going to do well. Let's be honest about it. ScarJo is riding high right now. She's everywhere. People love her. She's had a big resurgence. That's going to do well. It was smart to put her in that movie. Really smart to put her in that movie. You know what else? John Papsadera, our buddy, our friend, casting director extraordinaire, he ain't done. The A-list cast of Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey apparently continues to grow, as Anthony Molinari from Barry is the latest addition to the huge ensemble. Now, Molinari, why does that name sound familiar? Because you might have seen him in Abbott Elementary, Animal Kingdom, The Offer, and Everything Everywhere All at Once. Now, why is he being put in there? Because, as we've discussed, Christopher Nolan is a loyal guy, as well as Papsadera, and he's previously worked with Chris on 2020's Tenet. So it only makes sense. He's stacking it up with people he wanted to work with and people he has worked with. And again, pretty much every A-list person in Hollywood is working on this film. Period.
It's true. It's true. I mean, they basically have given the Oscar away already. They're ready
the first
for this
casting.
to win Best
Yes.
Picture.
Yeah, totally.
It's so freaking funny. Super excited for it, though. Super excited about it. It might be Hollywood's most anticipated film.
Oh, without doubt.
So yeah, it's really cool. Well, Sony is also doing some things that is not Spider-Man. They dropped the first trailer of Darren Aronofsky's latest film, Caught Stealing.
Yes.
The trailer shows Austin Butler navigating New York City's criminal landscape. Butler plays Hank Thompson, a former baseball player who unexpectedly finds himself embroiled in a dangerous struggle to survive amidst the criminal underbelly of the 1990s of New York City. Forced to navigate the treacherous underworld that he had never imagined, Butler, joined by his fellow cast members, Baboni, Matt Smith, Regina King, Vincent D'Onofrio, Action Bronson, Liev Schreiber, and Griffin Dunne. Zoe Kravitz also plays Austin Butler's love interest in this thing. Caught Stealing will be released in theaters August 29th, and I've seen the trailer. It looks like a lot of fun.
It does.
You know, I haven't seen like a story-driven film like this that just looked fun. Right? I think the last thing that we saw Austin Butler and Bike Riders, that looked more like a serious drama about this biker's life. But this one, it just looks like a crazy situation that reminds me a lot of 90s movies, early 2000s movies, where it's just a story about this instance in this day and time instead of this huge franchise that we try to build off of or anything like that. So I'm super excited for this movie, to be honest with you.
I'm right there with you. And let's be honest, I mean, Matt Smith, Regina King, Vincent D'Onofrio, Zoe Kravitz, that's a fucking epic cast, man.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like, hell yeah. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. So, yeah, all in on that bad boy. And I agree with you. I love the trailer. Let's jump on over to Lionsgate, and to nobody's surprise, Lionsgate revenue. We predicted this. If you go back and listen to our show, we predicted this. Lionsgate's revenue for the first 3 months of 2025 rose 22%, and its movie division profitability soared to the highest level in a decade, helped by box office performances of Den of Thieves 2 Pantera and Flight Risk in that period. Now, Lionsgate, and here's why. We predicted this. We knew this was going to happen. Here's why. Lionsgate on May 7th officially completed the long gestating split with Starz Premium Cable and Streaming business, which is now a separately traded company all its own. Lionsgate's motion picture segment revenue grew 28% to $526.4 million, while the segment profit grew 65% to $135.3 million. The television production segment revenue also increased 16% to $543.3 million, while the segment profit decreased just a little bit to $40.6 million. We saw that. We called it. We knew that once they split and it became a full-on studio by itself again and got rid of the saddled debt from the streamer, that they would be profitable. And, well, boom. There it is. Only made sense.
Yeah, it makes complete sense. But what's sad, and we feel like it doesn't make sense, but with current lawsuits and things like that, it kind of sadly does make sense. What is a bit of a surprise that is Michael Jackson fans are going to have to wait a little bit longer to see Antoine Fuqua's biopic about Michael himself. Earlier this week, Lionsgate CEO John Feldemir shared an update on the film starring Jackson's nephew, Jafar Jackson, who makes his on-screen debut in this project. He said, saying that the studio will be announcing a definitive release strategy and timing in the next few weeks, and that it is likely that they will move Michael out of this physical year, which will impact the physical 2026 financial results. But it will bolster an already strong physical 2027 release slate. It will also confirm that the film is undergoing an additional 22 days of filming next month. This all checks out with the possibility that Lionsgate may split the feature into 2 different installments, although that move has not officially been decided yet. But it makes complete sense, like I just said. A couple months ago, they got sued for the whole third act of the movie, basically, what the script was going to be. Nobody really knows what that's about, but we have some ideas. But yeah, I mean, you have to completely kind of change the way that it's going to be presented. You know, the 2-film release strategy would be very interesting about a singular biopic about a iconic figure. So I'm curious to see what their decisions will be. But I'm kind of worried about this film. I'm not gonna lie to you. If you have to change up the story, it's not necessarily,
I mean,
you know.
That would be my guess of the 22 additional days. After the lawsuit, they probably came to some sort of understanding with the people that were filing the law, and the 22 additional days of shooting are probably reshoots and changing things that they're not supposed to put in the movie. I did hear too that the first cut was delivered and they love it, but it's well over 3.5 hours long, which hence to me says the just split into 2 different movies. I mean, that makes sense because, I mean, even if you're the biggest hardcore Michael Jackson fan, I'm not sitting for 4 straight hours for a Michael Jackson movie. Like, give it to me in 2 installments. I'm just saying. Unless it's a concert with all his music. I mean, you know.
I mean, there are some hardcore fans out there. We sat and watched the Justice League movie
No, that's
for 4
true.
hours. So,
That's true.
I mean, if people really love Michael Jackson like they say they do, they're dedicated, okay? You got to watch it in one sitting.
But how many ohs, can you go with in 4 hours? I'd get, like, my ears would be like, go
That's
get
valid.
popcorn. Go get something. Like, I don't know. Speaking of, there's another movie like The Odyssey that just keeps adding people. Lots of people and big people. And apparently, I'm talking about The Hunger Games, Sunrise on the Reaping. It's added Elle Fanning and Kieran Culkin as Effie Trinket and the magnanimous host Caesar Flickerman. Now, as you guys know, these roles were originally played by Elizabeth Banks and Stanley Tucci in the original quartet of films. Now, the new film, based on Suzanne Collins' novel of the same name, revisits the world of Pan Am nearly a quarter of a century before the events of the original 4 films, where Woody Harrelson's Hamish Abernathy served as mentor to Jennifer Lawrence's Katniss Everdeen and Josh Hutcherson's Peeta Mellark. They just, man, this cast just keeps getting bigger and bigger too, and with big people. I like the casting though. Those actually work as younger versions of Stanley Tucci. And I mean, go figure. But yeah, I like this. I like that casting.
Completely agree. Kieran Culkin is on a super big high after his Oscar win with A Real Pain. And Elle Fanning is kind of in the same boat with A Complete Unknown with Timothée Chalamet.
Yep.
So one theory, I don't think Kieran is ever going back to television because he's finding so much success in film now. And Elle Fanning, she's just riding that wave, man. She's always been steady throughout her career, so it's really awesome to see her being attached to other big franchises like this. So
Same.
That's really fun. A24, after working with A24 on the Smashing Machine, the anticipated MMA drama out later this year, where Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is looking to get back into the business with the studio. Now, according to sources, he is set to co-star in Breakthrough, a psychological thriller penned by up-and-comer Zeke Goodman, now set in the turn of the millennium South California. The story follows an unalienated young man who comes under the influence of an emotional guru whose intoxicating charm masks his morality or morally questionable methods of manipulation and his own concealed darkness. We're told that Johnson will play a supporting role of the guru. The casting is still underway for the lead role and other supporting parts, but there is no director on this project yet, but it sounds weird. It sounds like A24. But to have someone as big as Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson in an A24 movie, I think that's going to be very interesting, so I'm excited to see it.
And in a co-starring role, like in a secondary role, a supporting role, which is an interesting move for a guy that still is a box office draw. So, but a motivational guru, I can totally see The Rock playing a motivational guru. That is hilarious. I just, okay, it'll work. A24, they take chances. That's why I really like them. Speaking of, Chiwetel Ejiofor and Kristen Milotti are in talks apparently to star in The Back Rooms. That's A24's upcoming sci-fi horror flick based on the viral series of found footage videos from Kane Parsons. Now, no word on the roles to be played by the duo, and the plot remains a mystery, but it is said to be set in 90 set original short watches, as young filmmakers fall into another dimension, leaves him wandering through an unsettling yellow and empty labyrinth office space, which may or may not be home to otherworldly beings. That sounds creepy as shit, but okay, sure, let's go with it. Risk?
Yeah, right. I know, right? I mean, A24 has that new movie coming out here soon with Paul Rudd, Best Friends or something with friends in the title.
Yep.
So yeah, they're taking all these different approaches, and I love it because you normally think of them as this weird kind of thriller, supernatural type thing. But I mean, the one with The Rock, warfare, Civil War, Like they're taking all of these chances that big name studios don't. So
Yeah.
I love to see everything that they have coming out. Even if it's not your cup of tea, you got to still watch it for the creativity. That's for sure. Netflix, where Carey Mulligan is in talks to star in Greta Gerwig's Chronicles of Narnia adaptation at Netflix. If the deal closes, Mulligan will join the previously announced cast of Daniel Craig, Meryl Streep, Emma McKay, and in her much anticipated Barbie follow-up, Gerwig is writing and directing this fantasy adventure, like we've told you before, which reportedly follows The Magician's Nephew, the sixth novel in the series by Arthur C.S. Lewis. Now, the story serves as a prequel to The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, and centers on the creation of Narnia by Asian the Lion, voiced by Streep. Now, Gerwig's untitled Narnia film is expected to open in IMAX around Thanksgiving Day 2026. The movie will screen worldwide exclusively on the company's premium large format screens for 2 weeks in advance of its Netflix debut around Christmas. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm kind of worried that franchise, that film, is not going to do well.
I would agree with you, and it's an interesting
Netflix is
move.
giving it a lot of money, and they're doing a lot for Greta Gerwig, putting it in theaters for all these different things. I'm worried that's not going to do well because it was already kind of a chance when they did The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. But then now you're doing a prequel that's kind of different, and I mean, we talk about the amount of time that happens from the first franchise to this franchise, like we did with Practical Magic. I mean, it's been almost 15, 20 years since the original. So, I mean, this is definitely a millennial trying to get a millennial draw, but I don't know if it's going to work out because today and age kids are not going to go see it, in my opinion.
I would agree with you. They're banking on Gerwig's popularity, and I think it might not work. Just saying. Hey, now that the sunny days have cleared the cloudy days away, I know what you're asking. How do I get to Sesame Street? Well, apparently, you follow the big red N. Because in another move that just shows that linear television is probably dying, the next season of the beloved Sesame Street is going to be on Netflix. Netflix announced a deal Monday with the Sesame Workshop, producer of the iconic kids show, giving the streamer exclusive worldwide premiere rights, starting with the season 56 later this year. Now, Netflix also gains the rights to 90 hours of past episodes of the show and will also be able to develop video games for both Sesame Street and Sesame Street Mecha Builders. Now, in the U.S., don't panic yet. In the U.S., episodes of Sesame Street will still continue to be available day and date on PBS stations across PBS Kids digital platforms. For now, I'm betting that ends pretty quick. I mean, now that they have an outlet, public television isn't getting funded the way it used to. I bet it just ends up on Netflix solo. I'm just going to say it. I think that's what's going to happen. Now, how did Netflix get it? Because apparently everybody's beloved guy to hate, David Zaslav, fucked it up. Sesame's Workshop's deal with Netflix came after Warner Brothers Discovery did not renew its 5-year deal for Sesame Street streaming on HBO Max. Because why? Zaslav doesn't want kids programming on there, even though a fucking bunny built your company. I just... Hello! I don't know, man. I don't know. But it's good for Netflix. People still to this day watch Sesame Street. It's huge. So it'll do well for them.
Yeah, completely agree. It's going to be very interesting. That's for sure. Yeah, it's wild. The entertainment industry right now is wild, man. But that's why we're here at ITCAFpodcast to give you all the latest and greatest news coming out of the entertainment industry. But now it is time for our guest segment. And this week we have returned guest Rhiannon Fish coming back on the show, talking about her career, talking about mental health. If you guys didn't listen to the first episode, I wasn't there. So I had to be there for this one, man. And we talk about all about me getting to know her and all of the different things and touch on some stuff that we touched on in the first episode. But man, oh man, she is a lovely soul, and I'm super excited for her to come back on.
Yeah, she is genuinely one of the kindest people that you could ever meet. And she's so happy. That upbeat in attitude and it's just that infectious smile is real. It's not an act, guys. That's who she is as a person, and she's just amazing to talk to every time we talk to her. And if you're a Hallmark fan, you're in luck because you're going to be seeing a lot more of her, and she'll tell you why in this interview. You guys are going to love this one.
Yes, for sure, for sure. Well, here she is.
Rhiannon Fish, welcome back inside the Crazy Ant Farm. How are you?
Thank you for having me back. I had the best time talking with you guys last time, so it's an absolute pleasure to be here
Oh,
again. Thank you for having me.
same. It was so much fun, and the response was outstanding, and everybody loves you. And so, yeah, it was a great interview, and we had a great time. And so I was thrilled to get you back and talk to you again. It's always a blast and always a pleasure to talk to you.
Yeah, and you guys have such a fantastic following. Anyone that I interacted to via you guys were all just so lovely. So that's a credit to both of you for sure.
Oh, well, thank you so much. That we appreciate that. Like, it's important to us, who we are and how we do things and how we conduct ourselves and our company and our products and content. Yeah. It's important. So it's nice for people to recognize it. We appreciate that. And vice versa. I mean, anytime that I talk about you or make a comment to you, somebody's immediately just boom, 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 boom. She's like this, and I'm like, yeah, she
That's
is.
so
like,
nice. That makes me very happy here.
So let's talk about it's been a while since the last time we chatted, and you have just been nonstop. You've been busy, 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 busy. So talk about that a little bit. What's that like? Have you found some time to take a little downtime, though? Because that's important, too.
Oh, my gosh, of course. It's been so great. I think my focus for this year, I sort of had meetings with my managers at the end of last year and sort of discussed where I wanted to go. And I feel very strongly about planting my feet at Hallmark. So that has been something that I've very proactively tried to do. And am seeing sort of a mutual relationship really start to form there. So I'm thrilled. There is no, and I mean this sincerely, there is no network I would rather be a part of than Hallmark. It's been around forever and it's not going anywhere. And so I feel very lucky to be a part of it.
Oh, that's such an amazing thing. Yeah, because I feel like everybody who we've talked to who is associated with the network has the exact same thing to say, which is amazing to see because like it's so family friendly. It's one that you can literally put on at any point in time and then just enjoy the rest of your night because it always ends on a positive note, which we need in this world.
I know. I think sometimes now more than ever, I think it's just so nice for a living to get to tell these fairy tales and to make people that maybe don't feel okay just feel okay even for that moment that the movie's on. It's a dream job really, and it's true about the network, and it all bleeds down from the top. There are good people at the top, and everyone you pass or you see along the way, they're all fantastic people. I really mean that.
Yeah, and it's not just the family atmosphere for the content that they put out. It's a family atmosphere within the company. They treat everybody like family. I hear that they're very family friendly with the performers that have kids. They're very family friendly. They take the time to care about you as a person and not just somebody that's doing an acting job for them.
Agreed. And from my experience, they don't throw out contracts. They are very careful with who they give them to, and anyone that I've seen them go to has been not only fantastic performers but also genuinely very good people. And I think you see that when the Hallmark does its big Christmas cons at the end of the year. It's like those people, they're genuinely good people. And I think that's a wonderful thing to be a part of.
Oh, most definitely. I mean, another thing to be wonderfully a part of is, being able to go and travel the world. And I feel like Hallmark is one of those networks and one of those companies who loves shooting on location. And I mean, I'm hoping that's what happened with Polar Opposites. Like, did y'all actually go to Antarctica?
It wasn't Antarctica, but it was a glacier.
It's still pretty cool. Still pretty cool.
Yeah, it was wild. Yeah, we know they very much... everything is real. Nothing's cheated for the most part. Of course, with which we will talk about the Machu Picchu movie coming out. Like we are really there for all of it. None of it is green screen. And I think that's something that the audience seems to appreciate, which is awesome. It's like, you want to go on this trip, come with us and we'll actually take you there.
Yeah. And, to touch on that, it's kind of, evolved with the evolution of Hallmark, right? Because it primarily in the old day, it was all kind of like shot in Canada, right? And it was like, that was
all
the
Vancouver
thing.
made to look like
Yeah,
New York,
yeah.
wherever they are. But yeah, it was all Vancouver.
Right.
Yeah.
But that evolution now is, like you said, actually going on location, giving it the authenticity to where these people are at. But they're also making moves and with stories and characters. And you know, for the longest time, you know, I think that a lot of networks were scared to touch real life. It's like no. We need a picture of real life. You know, two women together is a real couple in real life, or an interracial couple is a real thing, and we need to start showing that more. You know, a better picture of real life as opposed to and it is clear that Hallmark has made that transit. They are working to go in that direction clearly, which I think is a beautiful thing. And the way that they've been doing it is really good. So to be a part of that, you know, I feel like must be really just amazing, right?
I love that you've said that, because that was part of my discussion at the end of last year, is that I love the direction that Hallmark is heading. And I feel very proud to stand with a network that is, you know, you talk about interracial couples or same-sex couples. Have you watched any of the Chicken Sisters?
Yeah.
Chicken Sisters season 1, I was like, is this Hallmark in the best way possible?
Yeah.
Just, it's showing real life and real relationships. And I think it's heading in a direction that I feel very proud to stand behind.
Love that.
Most definitely. That's how we feel about The Way Home. That's on Hallmark Channel as well, that we love watching on Peacock. But yeah, I just feel like the different types of storytelling with the diversity and just the current day situations, I feel like is very important, because, you know, the world is very crazy and we need to be able to see that, but also have a light at the end of the tunnel, because sometimes reality, you can't see the light at the end of the tunnel. But with Hallmark, you always see that glimmering light.
Yeah, there's a hope there with Hallmark that I don't think is ever going anywhere.
Completely agree. And I mean, I'm curious too, just because, you know, we love the behind the scenes information and how all of these meetings go about. So when you are going into a meeting with your managers, with your reps, with the people who are taking care of your career, basically, what do you go in with the intentions of coming out with, I guess, if that makes any sense? Like, do you go in with a specific plan in mind? Like, hey, this is kind of where I want my trajectory of my career to go. I would like to try this. I would like to try that. What's that process like?
I tend to, first of all, great question. I tend to be a little bit passive in that, first of all, I'll surround myself with people that I trust, and then I'll go, you make the calls. And for the most part, in fact, always, they have never led me astray. And that's the thing, I trust usually that people know how to do the job that they are paid to do,
Right.
for the most part. And so they'll call me out and they'll say, no, this isn't the right move for you, or yes, this is. And I always blindly follow their lead on that.
Love that.
That's nice. Yeah.
Did you go in strictly with these are the type stories that I want to be in, acting in wise or whatever? Because we have a lot of friends that are also affiliated with the network, and they've kind of they're making pitches now. They have story ideas and treatments, and they're like, hey, here's an idea that I have. Are you also leaning in that direction? Like, I've got some stories I'd like to tell and some ideas. Can we play around and maybe make some of that happen? Are you also going that way too?
I have suggested locations. There is a location that I want to shoot a movie at, because these guys that I did Costa Rica Romance, the Polar Opposites, and Machu Picchu. They are the big time travelers for Hallmark for the most part.
Yeah.
And so we sort of discussed while we were doing Machu Picchu, where do we want to go next? Where haven't we seen a Hallmark movie? I'll just say it. I was like, let's go to Japan.
Yeah, oh, yes. No, yeah, I hope that happens, because that'd be awesome.
I hope that happens too, because Hallmark hasn't done it yet. And anybody I know that's been to Japan says, like, you can't just go once. And so what a pleasure to be able to show the Hallmark audience, like, a little, you know, behind the scenes of Japan and tell a love story while we're there. I think that would be amazing.
And I can already see it, because the movies that you've been in, and they're all very nature related. They're all very like, you know, kind of thing. So it won't be Tokyo. I feel like it's going to be, it's going to be the ancient temples and the cherry blossoms. And you're going to be in the pretty parts of it. Like, yeah.
First casting, they were like, let's do cherry blossom.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that would be such a beautiful setting, because at the right time of year with those temples and the old ancient Japanese cultures and the tree, I mean, you can't go. That's a perfect love story setting. Come on.
Oh, I know. So I just hope that they do it first. I'm sure there is a bidding war for Japan.
Yeah.
And there should be. But I hope that they do it and that I get to be a part of it.
Love that.
I love that. Yeah, I mean, talk about an experience of a lifetime. That is for sure. I love that so freaking much. And I hate to ask this question, and it's just the current day situation that we're in with certain things happening in the world, within the United States, and with certain tariffs, particularly being threatened to be taxed on film incentives and things like that. As someone who shoots a lot of things for Hallmark, who does like to go outside of the country, are you scared about the impact that that might make on your career and Hallmark as a whole?
For sure. I think it feels like as a whole, like art is sort of being threatened right now. And I
Yeah.
feel like with art and creativity, there needs to be a freedom that exists in it that I'm scared we're gonna lose. And I think I think that is scary. I think it absolutely is. And I think also too, sometimes I look at it and I'm like, I'm just an actor. I would just love to just be able to do my job. That's all I
Right.
want to do. And then it sometimes feels like along the way there are things put in place that make that very difficult. And all we're really trying to do is tell stories and for the most part just make people happy. So it's hard and it's scary.
Well,
It is.
and you know what's interesting too is because I feel like art is the last line of defense, because you know let's be honest about it, the press, is it free it's so mandated about what they say or don't say. I mean, we both worked in news, we came from news, and there was a point where it was bought by a corporation and we were told what to report or how to report stuff instead of just, and you know, this network leans this way, so the freedom of speech with the press has kind of disappeared. So I feel like art is that last line of defense. It's the last medium left to where you can just tell stories and make statements and start conversations with nobody oversighting you, saying you have to say this, you have to believe this or that. And if that falls, where will we be left, right? That is a dangerous thought to think that if that last medium falls and we can't start conversations or tell stories with art, then we're in big trouble in this world.
Oh, I agree. I absolutely agree. And I just hope that that's the way that most of the world sees it. I hope.
Well, that's what we're here for.
Yeah. I mean, the thing that we have in our corner is that artists are generally loud. And I think that they will really put up a fight for their art. And I think that that's hopefully, if it comes down to it, that voice will be loud or louder.
Yes, most definitely. I'm keeping my fingers crossed that it's just another empty threat. But anyway, and moving on from that situation, I just had to ask because, you know, working out of the country and with current day situations, you know, it's a topic of conversation. But I do want to talk about Polar Opposites because, like Dustin said, this is such a cute film and it definitely does warm the hearts and souls of anyone looking for love, especially, you know, having that good family connection that Hallmark loves to give to their audience. How did this one come about? Was it like a 2-week shoot, how some of them are, or like how quick was it?
Crazy. We did Polar Opposites right into Machu Picchu. So the
wow.
and myself, we completely back to back. Polar Opposites was hard. I'll be totally honest with you. It was real. Well, we were on a glacier with the altitude sickness is crazy. I don't know if either of you have ever. I wouldn't recommend.
No.
It was hard. When we went to the top of the glacier, we were all like harnessed in because it was real. You couldn't take more than 2 or 3 steps without stopping and trying to breathe. Of course, we were safe. We had a medic with us. We were all being looked after. But it was at some points, it was like, is this a Hallmark movie? Like, what are we shooting here?
Yeah.
So it was an incredible experience. I didn't like the ship. I know, like you just said, you were just on a cruise ship. Cruise ships is not for me.
No.
I don't get, I feel claustrophobic. I'd like to get off. And I think I just felt which helped with the whole performance of it. It was, as we've said too, very immersive. It all felt very real. I loved that we didn't cheat any of it, but that being said, it was hard.
And it's funny that you say that, because some of the best parts of the movie is when you're trapped on that ship. I want to credit you, because I don't know if you get enough credit for it. You are a extremely talented comedic actress.
Thank you.
You're trying to avoid being seen, or then putting on fake characters when you are like, was hilarious. The way you would like go in and out of it. I don't think you get nearly enough credit for how funny you actually are, you know. And sometimes even when you're not trying to be funny, it comes across so adorable, you just can't help but laugh. It's like, oh my gosh, that's too cute. Oh no, yeah, it was just but I gotta say, what I really liked about this is just the whole concept of the movie. Just obviously a daughter terrified something's wrong with her dad and trying to get to him, and the whole thing. But really, the context of the story is love not being denied. It's about these two penguins that are separated, and the whole story is about real love will find a way. No amount of separation will last if there's a way. And that's really the context of this beautiful story, and the way it was pulled off, the way your love story evolves with it, the dynamic between the family with you and your dad, and then the penguins and the scenery, and just it was hard to watch that movie and not go, yeah, love, just right.
And I loved it too. Apparently, that's true to what penguins are like. They do mate for life.
Yeah.
And there's sort of gay penguins too, which I love. Like, these penguins just fall in love with another penguin, and then they spend the rest of their lives together. I think it melts my heart.
Yeah.
And it's so well said, is that love will always find a way. And I think sometimes that we have to remember that when it's really sticky and it's really hard, is that, you know, if it's meant to be and love is the driving force behind it, I think it will be in the end.
Beautiful.
Most definitely. I love that. That's gonna be a soundbite. We're gonna do that. We're already gonna put that out there. You don't even have to wait on that one.
And please include the bite about how Hallmark is doing even inclusivity with penguins.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll show same couple penguins. They fall in love too. It's fine. I love that. I love that you reference that. It's like, talk about the transition. They're really moving, even with the penguins.
I love that. I mean, because you got a lot of different climate changes, basically. I mean, you go from a glacier to Machu Picchu, like that. Talk about, like, I do not like the cold. Dustin loves the cold.
And I have a lot of problem with the heat. So
you're either one way or the other.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. So, I mean, going back to back, was that weird for your body to kind of like transition from the freezing cold to the hot?
Well, especially too, because we started polar opposites I think we were in Brazil. So we were all wearing those like ski jackets and the balaclavas and all that stuff, and it was 1,000 degrees. So it was all difficult. And then we were in bathing suits at the top of the freaking glacier. So we did it all and then some in that movie.
I love that.
Well, bravo.
No, thank you. No, thank you. And truly, bravo to the crew as well. It was, and I'm so glad the movie came off well. That was the thing. And that Hallmark picked it up right away. Like, as we were wrapping it, they were like, we want to get you in to finish the ADR on it, and we'll put this movie out right away. It was maybe 2 weeks after we finished shooting.
Oh, wow.
That they pushed it out. So it felt great that the movie was so well received by Hallmark.
And there was just something about it, because like I said at the top of the interview, it just, in recent recollection, that particular movie was one of the most interactive that I've seen. Like there was the live tweeting during that thing was just, I couldn't keep up. Like I was trying to message you. I'm trying to message her. I can't get there. Like, it's like, but it was hilarious. But that's always a good sign, right? That means it's
Always.
connecting. People are connecting to it, and that's always a good sign. And to hear that the turnaround was that quick and they just popped it out and then had that much success, that's a great thing. This next one too, a Meet You proposal. This is an interesting concept too. So you're basically just following your brother along because you know how to speak a language and he needs help with the proposal. Like what?
This movie I loved making this movie. Machu Picchu, I mean, I'd always heard that it's a very spiritual place, but the feeling that I had when I stood at the top of the ruins there, it's otherworldly. It feels like whatever you believe in this world is also there with you. It's magic. So a dream come true to be able to visit there. Alex Santos, who plays the lead, you guys should talk to him. He is a magical human being, so lovely.
For sure.
So we had a blast together. I loved exploring this location. Of all the places I've been, that was definitely my favorite.
I love that too, because I mean, being able to travel the world for your job, you would hope that you can go to beautiful places. Okay, you're hoping.
Exactly.
Did you have any memorable moments or like funny moments on set that you would love to share on ITCAFpodcast exclusively?
Do you want to know a secret?
Yes,
sure,
please. Always.
I don't know if I'm like legally allowed to say this. Between those two movies, I had pneumonia. I was in the hospital.
Oh my goodness.
It's not like a fun little bit of tea.
No, yeah, that's incredible. Like what?
We're so happy you're okay.
Thank you. That's so nice. Thank you. It was coming up to the day when we were going to start shooting. And I was like, I don't know if I can do it. We were just about to pull the pin, call some other amazing actress in to save the day. I just made it onto that set. And so for that reason, I'm looking forward to watching it because it was one of those incredible moments that you have in life sometimes where it's like, if I can do this, I can do anything. And so I look forward to watching it and being able to give myself credit in that moment for what it took to make it there.
Wow. Yeah, like I mean, I know some people that'll call out because they have a little headache. You're like, no, let's just go do a full movie with pneumonia. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I can't wait to watch it. I'm excited to watch that one. I want to touch on a couple of things that we briefly talked about the last time because I'm still a little interested. One, we kind of played around with that you really want to do a musical, and now that you've kind of locked in and said Hallmark is the place, this is where I want to go. We need to get them to do something where we see you singing, like and
dancing and acting at the same time.
Yes.
That's all I want to do. Always.
Yes.
Lock that in. I'd love to do that. I would also love to. I think Hallmark is doing some fantastic series. I mentioned Chicken Sisters.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I love. What was the one that you guys said?
The Way Home.
The Way Home.
And I love her. I met super. What is it? What's her name? I forget.
Oh, the lead, Kyler Lee.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Sadie. Yeah, like they're both just incredible. Like
incredible. And I haven't watched any of that show, but anytime I see an ad for it, I just think to myself, I would give anything to be on a series on Hallmark because I think that they mix it so well where they are true to like the love story, but then they also add so much more to it. And you have the opportunity to grow with your character, of course. And that is something that I would love to do at Hallmark.
I got to tell you, just looking at you, looking at you, right?
He's already casting.
Well, so far we've only seen the pond take them backwards. And so far we've only seen Sadie stay her age no matter where she's at. You could pull off, though, an adult Sadie. I think you could be an adult Alice. You could be. I think if we can figure out how to convince them to make the pond go forward, we could see Alice as an adult. They're hinting at what happens with Alice in the future, right? Like who she may or may not end up with. I'm just saying. I could see it. Just seeing you guys side by side.
Nothing more amazing. Yeah. Confirmed.
Well, we got to make that happen. That's all I'm saying. We got to make that happen. And then the other thing that I know Logan and I both want to kind of dive into a little bit is because I know this is important to you and I pay attention to your posts and the things that you put out there and everything. The mental health aspect and what you went through early on in life with the eating disorder and the body shaming and
Yep.
how that affected you. You're such a positive role model for both young women and men that follow you, trying to come up in an industry where unfortunately it is a visual medium and there's so much emphasis on it. But I like, and I want you to talk about this a little bit, because I like how you stand your ground and you set boundaries for yourself. I remember there was this one post, and you made, I don't know if it was a live video or if you just recorded it as a video, but you were really emphatic about, just because I post a picture of myself in a bathing suit doesn't give you the right to ogle me or come at me sexually. And you were really set your boundary and said that is not okay, you know? And then I like how you explain that I went through an eating disorder. I wasn't proud of my body, and now I am, and this is why I want to show it. It's not to get this type of attention. Talk about that, because I think, like I said, it is a very visual medium, and I think there's so much emphasis on it. So talk about what advice you would have, or how you continue to deal with that in this industry.
Oh, what a loaded question in a great way. It's a pressure that's always going to be there. I think, I mean, geez, if we're really going to get into it now, look at, and again, I hope everyone just does what they want to do and everybody should just be happy. But I think Ozempic is causing problems. I
Yes.
think that all these women that, and I don't want to use blanket statements, but I'll just, from my observation, I have seen a lot of public figures being very body positive, and that you should love yourself no matter what size. And it appears that they have then gone on Ozempic, lost a ton of weight. And then, so does that now negate everything they had once said? Like, what has happened to the body positivity movement? And I do still think there is a grotesque lack of representation for different body types. You put on basically any show, for the most part, you're just going to see thin women.
Yeah.
And I think probably men too. There is this, and we're doing so well with representation, or better. We're doing better with representation across the board. We touched on that. But still, it is this one body type that you see when you turn on the TV. And I think that that is really damaging. I think it's damaging to little people growing up. And say, for myself, I want to be an actor. I'm watching this. Well, then I have to look like that if I'm ever going to be an actor, because that's what they cast. And I don't really understand why there hasn't been any movement there. I don't know if it's coming from within. Maybe we're part of the problem. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know. But it's something that I think about a lot. And I think that it's something that I would love to see changed in terms of representation in media.
Yeah, most definitely. Because I mean, we talk about like typecasting when it comes to the males. Like, if you're a heavier set male, you're basically getting a sidekick, funny type of role. Like, that's what you're never
Yep.
going to be the leading man, at least in today's society's eyes. And I just, yeah, it's such an interesting thing, because you do go through waves and you go through movements where like things get better, but things then kind of
Oh, it's
revert
like that
back to the
pendulum thing.
same. And
Yeah, no, I
yeah, it's
know.
so
Yeah,
weird, because
yeah,
like I never really noticed it as a child growing
yeah.
up in the early 2000s, but then when like the first monumental thing that I feel like that happened in my life that was like a huge societal change was the Me Too movement, where
Right.
everyone
Yeah.
obviously came out and talked about SA assault and like, everything that happened to them. But I had never seen anything like that. But then after, it's been what, 7 years since that started? Save it, 7, 8 years, something like that. And now, like, I feel like we're still getting people that come out of the woodwork, like the whole, Sean Diddy Combs thing, and like all of
Yeah.
it's so wild. Like, especially, we love this industry. We love
Yeah, me
telling
too.
stories. We
Yeah,
love making an impression, a positive impression on
yeah,
people. But then there is such a dark side to the entertainment industry. And that's why you have to make sure to just stay on the straight and narrow and just make sure you're doing what's right for you, so that other people can see that, so they can do what's right for them. And but
exactly.
like, taking advantage of people and doing all of those things and
Yeah,
movements are, it's so weird. The world we live in is so weird.
I know. I know. I absolutely agree. And I was thinking about it too in the I watched the documentary about the I guess, murder that happened on the set on Alec Baldwin's.
Yeah,
I forgot.
yeah, the Rust. Yeah, Rust.
Helena, I can't remember her last
Hutchinson.
name.
Helena Hutchinson. Yeah.
Right. I watched that. And again, that's another discussion of like this horrific thing happened.
Yeah.
What did we do afterwards? What did we put in place? I haven't seen that many changes happen, in my opinion. And again, this is political, but it's okay. It's a safe space to sort of talk about this.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Safe space.
Created. In my opinion, there is no reason to ever, and that's what I believe the director said. He said on his sets, he will only ever have rubber guns.
Yeah.
There is no reason that we ever on a movie need to have anything that actually shoots and fires. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
We can do everything with CGI. I mean, so why? And then I was talking to my partner about this, and the discussion was sort of that, like, well, it costs, and they were just explaining to me, it's extra money that people don't have. It's extra time that people don't want to, spend and I think that that's really bad if it's people's lives that we're putting on the line just to take a few shortcuts. I think that that's really crappy.
Yeah.
And yeah, I see it in a somewhat positive way. In light of the Me Too movement, there are much more, from my experience, what is it called? Where they tell you where to touch the person on the body.
Yeah, like intimacy coordinators.
Coordinator, yeah.
Yes.
I'm seeing a lot more of that personally. I hope that that's the case across the board, even on films where it's just like a standard kiss in the kitchen. They have a intimacy coordinator there, which I think is really, really great. And there have been sets that I've been on in the past and wished, this was pre-Me Too movement, wished that there had been someone there.
Yeah.
So I hope that is helping things. But you're right, it's a dark, dark industry, and they're bad people at the top of a lot of them. And I think we're seeing the effects that has.
Yeah, and I'm glad you said that, because I wanted to touch on that. It's also the lack of responsibility, taking responsibility. And I want to, in the Rust situation, for example, Alec Baldwin trying to not just the shooting of the gun aspect, but it's like you are a producer on that film, meaning you are responsible for hiring the person that was reckless. So you cannot just deny any responsibility. No. You are the guy that was responsible for hiring somebody that was inexperienced. And
that blows my mind. I had to ask myself, if I was in this situation, how could I sleep at night?
Yeah.
Stuff happens. Accidents happen. We're human.
Right.
But then accountability for your mistake.
That's right.
And there was a complete lack of accountability that I find astonishing, because I don't know how those people then go to bed at night. I don't understand.
And in the same thing with the Me Too movement, there are, and I won't mention names, but there are actors that are still on television in big series being almost rewarded, even though they know that they had done something illegal. And when you make a payout to somebody, especially millions of dollars, you are basically admitting that you did do what they accused you of doing. You don't pay somebody out if you didn't. And to be rewarded with a new show is basically the top saying, we don't care that you did that. We're okay with it because you bring us in big ratings.
I know.
That is not okay. Until we stop that, I think we're still going to just sadly still see this problem. Because like you said, it is at the top. And we need to come. So,
and at the top, the most important thing is money. It's dollar signs. That's all they care about. So just like what you said, if that person is bringing in ratings, well, I don't care. I don't care what they did to this other person. Doesn't matter.
And that is why we need Hallmark.
Exactly.
We're gonna bring it all back around to why Hallmark is great.
Amen. Agreed. Absolutely.
I mean, I listened to the conversation that y'all had last time, and I'm like, man, they got deep. I want to get deep. So I mean, here we are. But I was thinking about different questions to ask to try to liven up, interviews and how we approach things and things like that. We introduce like the popcorn questions, fun things like that. But one of them, it's a very staple in the entertainment industry, specifically for actors. And I mean, I don't think we've asked anybody. I mean, we might have, but I mean,
ooh, it might be a first.
Can you make yourself cry? And if so, where do you go to make yourself cry?
I think, and you'll hear this, anyone that did soap operas, if you becomes like a mechanical thing. I don't think of anything sad. I know what the sensation is in like my eyeballs
Interesting.
that makes the tears start going. So
Yeah.
it's not acting. I say that respectfully. It's just not. It's just like, I can make my arm move kind of.
Yeah, it's like scientific. Like
Literally.
So
Yeah.
so it's got to be totally weird though when you see somebody and it looks so real and they're just genuinely crying and then they yell cut and they're like fine. It's like laughing afterward. Like that's got to be so crazy. Yeah.
It's bizarre. 100%. Yeah.
That's the first time. I mean, I've heard people say, "Oh, we use Visine," or we think about a death in the family or something. I have never heard anybody say, "Oh, it's literally just a sensation in my eye that I can make happen."
For me, I couldn't do the death. And again, I learned this on soap operas because, you'll be doing some long, character arc where the whole thing is sad. For me, it was that my boyfriend was in a coma and he was dying. And it was a long arc. We did it for weeks that he was in this coma. And so for every day I had to come to work and I started rattling through different people that had died in my life. And it's like that, you can't do that. Maybe short term, but long term, you'll make yourself sick. I don't think that's good. No.
Love that. Yeah, let's talk about the mental health
wake up,
aspect
damn
again.
it.
Yeah.
That is so funny. Well, this has been an amazing conversation. I'm super blessed and thankful to be able to be a part of this one because I had another opportunity to do a different gig. So right now I'm in college for live entertainment. So I'm learning about the behind the scene process of like concerts and comedy shows and learning sound and lighting and different things like that. And they asked me to do like videography for graduation. And I was like, no, I can't do that. I missed the first interview with her. I have to make this interview with her. So I just want you to know you're special. You're special.
Oh, I'm sorry you're missing that. Thank you for being here. I actually, for what it's worth, I would have been really sad if you weren't here. No offense.
That's okay. No. You gave me one of the nicest compliments ever the last time we talked about how you can't imagine anybody not wanting to talk to me. So you can praise him too. It's fine. I'm not hurt. I still show people that compliment. Like, how sweet is this? Like, it's crazy. Yeah, that just goes to show what type of a person you are, though, and why we like having you on the show, and we'll continue to love having you on the show, hopefully, because you are such a genuinely good person, and you can tell that you care about people and about what you do and about what you're trying to put out there in the world, and that's the kind of people we want to be associated with.
Right back at you guys, 100%.
Well, thank you so much. And of course, it's all about social media. So where can people find you?
I'm Rhiannon Fish on Instagram. Please come say hello. Like I said, your fans have been so kind. So please say hello. And I'd love to hopefully meet you guys in person. That would be amazing.
Oh my gosh, yeah, we will definitely make that happen. We've been blessed to have that happen with so many and develop real friendships. And we would love that. I feel like get ready though, like because I feel like it would be a really long conversation. You better have like a lot of coffee ready.
It will.
Because you're a talker like us.
Last time too, we talked about even just doing one podcast where we just discuss mental health.
Yeah,
I would love to. That's my absolute favorite.
Well, then we'll get you booked on the other podcast, the mental health podcast, because I think I think that would just be an incredible conversation. I really do. So we'll make that happen.
Now, Hallmark, make a movie in New Orleans so she can come down here.
Yes, there you go. Come on.
Shout out. I'm in the process of getting my U.S. visa, so you never know.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, there you go. Well, we keep saying we always want to go to Canada too, so hey, we'll make it work somehow.
Exactly.
We will make this happen.
I've got my passport already because of the cruise line.
There you go.
I'm
see,
good.
So it's this real ID shit that's a pain in the ass. Like right now, they spelled my name wrong on my license. So now, and I didn't realize it, but so now.
Finally. Yeah.
I'm having to go back. Well, because when I renewed my license, I saw that it was wrong. And I said, oh, guys, you mistyped. It's wrong. No, it matches just Social Security card. And I'm like, no, it doesn't. And then I looked and it was wrong on my, and they can't change it because it has to match that. So now I am in the process. I can't get my real ID yet because I am in the process of trying to prove that I have two N's on the end of my name.
What a nightmare.
It's horrible.
How do you spell your name?
Two N's on the end of the last name. It's Bergmann. It's the difference between German and Jewish, apparently. If the one N is Jewish, two N's is... And But the Social Security office is giving me the runaround, and they keep saying, "Oh, well, we need your birth certificate, this, that," and I'm like, you issued my Social Security card 55 years ago, and it was correct. You can't go back and look and see that it's 2 N's and you just messed up.
It's on you guys.
Yeah, it's like exactly.
I keep telling him that this is just a reason to reinvent himself. It's a new day. And
I'll just change my name to 1 N. You know, it's like whatever. Like, it's fine. Same last name. We'll just drop it in. It's fine. And the reason being because I want to meet Rhiannon. I can't get to Canada with 2 N's, damn it. How do you get to Canada? Drop it in. That's how we'll get to Canada.
Oh boy. That is so funny.
But okay, what? I swear it's just water I'm drinking, I swear to that. He did the vodka. Or the anyway, listen, thank you so much. And we will definitely be in touch again. And we really will seriously try to pick a way and find a way to meet up with you. That would be fantastic. And we'll definitely get you on the mental health podcast as well.
Love to. All right, take care, guys. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you bet. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Oh my goodness. Yes, I'm so happy that I was able to be a part of this one because she's so bubbly, so lovely, so lighthearted. I feel like you really could have a conversation with her about anything.
Yeah, no, right? And that's like, I remember that when we were talking about, when I had the opportunity, how just you just fall into the conversation. It can literally be anything because she's so genuinely happy. And when you hear about all the stuff that she went through as a young adult or a young child and overcame that, to have that type of a happy attitude, that's hope for everybody out there struggling, that you can get through it and that you're going to be okay. And she's a shining example of that. So yeah, just a beautiful person.
Yeah, most definitely. Most definitely. Thank you again, Rhiannon, for coming on the show. All right, now it is time for our top 5 segment, man. And in memory, in honor, in explosions of this weekend being the release of the final Mission Impossible movie, we're going to do top 5 favorite Tom Cruise films. Like Dustin said a little bit earlier, this man is such an interesting character, but he makes good movies. Let's be honest about it. He is kind of Mr. Blockbuster, and I can't knock him for it, to be honest. Like, I'm not sure within the last 10 or 20 years he's been on a movie set that wasn't at least $50 million budget.
Oh,
This man is like top of the line, big money, big draw.
Without doubt. And listen, I'm pretty sure a lot of people have real problems with how he does his personal life, things he believes in. But there's one thing you cannot argue about the man. He loves movies. He loves the movie industry. He loves big screen theaters, and he is passionate about making movies for the big screen. He's been doing it for half a century now, if you can believe that. And and he, like you said, because of that passion, he makes good movies. Like, just ignore the other stuff. Just, he makes great movies. And so the real question is, did our faves change? Because he's had a couple of new ones out in between. The last time we did this list, did they make the list? Did they make us bump some stuff? Or did we keep them exactly the same? Let's dive in and find out.
That's right, man. That's right. My number 5 goes to something completely outside of the box that Tom Cruise does not do. Musicals. That's right. If y'all didn't know, Tom Cruise did a musical, and it is called Rock of Ages, which is basically about young rock stars, or at least young musicians, trying to become rock stars when Tom Cruise is already that established rock star, basically, that everybody wants to get in contact with, that they want to have a conversation to help put them on, give them game, and be able to help mold their careers. And of course, Tom Cruise's character does not give a shit, does not care about these young kids. And it's been so long since I've seen it, so I can't even remember if his singing was good or not. But I just wanted to put this on there because it is so different from what he is known for. And good for him and good for the producers to get him on this to do something completely different. But Rock of Ages, is it good? Probably not. It probably does not hold up well, but I remember it coming out in like, I think early 2010s, and it was, you know, a film that came out in early 2010s. But like I said, it's different. But yeah, number 5 for me, Rock of Ages.
It was definitely different, and kudos to him for taking a risk. Yeah, some people will say it paid off, some people will say it did not, but he took a risk. Like I said, the guy loves to make movies, and he puts himself out there. So my number 5 is basically Top Gun at the bar. That's really what this film is. It's about a young, cocky bartender who thinks he knows everything. He wants to start his own business, and he starts working at a bar with a guy who's been doing it forever. And side note, the guy who's been doing it forever is a con man who steals our young, cocky bartender's idea in the end of it, the gist of the movie. But it's really fun. You see Tom Cruise, and he's learning from the old mentor guy about how to toss the bottles and do fancy tricks and moves as he's pouring the drinks, and how he interacts with the crowd and the patrons and everything. And it's really, like I said, it's like Top Gun, but set at a bar. The character is very similar to Maverick in how he's cocky and he thinks he knows everything, but he learns, and he falls in love with a hot blonde played by Elizabeth Shue. It's very similar. And it came out not too far distant around the same time, too. So, but it was all in. I think it was, he was riding high, almost at the peak of his popularity at the point that this movie came out. And you couldn't go to much like when Top Gun came out, everybody had aviator glasses and everybody wanted to sign up to be a naval aviator. Well, in Cocktail, you couldn't go to a single bar and not see bartenders trying to do the fancy. Yeah, unfortunately, they were spilling it all over their people because they couldn't do it. But it sparked a boom for bars at the time. So that just tells you the power of Tom Cruise. It's like, oh, okay, let's do this kind of stuff. Look, is it an Oscar winner? No. Is it the greatest story ever written? No. But it's fun. If you like just a fun, good time, laugh out loud type of a movie and Elizabeth Shue hot as fuck, this is your movie. Cocktail, my number 5.
There you go, man. There you go. Well, in honor of it being Mission Impossible's last weekend, one of us had to put it on there.
Yeah.
Number 4 for me is the original Mission Impossible, which was fun. It was catchy. It was one of those things where you're like, oh my goodness, did the government betray Ethan Hunt? Like the iconic theme song, the action sequences, the explosion. It is basically anything and everything you would want from a Tom Cruise action movie. But then I went to the second one, and the second one is god-awful. So I made it a point to try to watch all of the Mission Impossibles, but then after the bad taste of the second one, I have not gone back to the franchise. But I do enjoy the first Mission Impossible movie, so I wanted to put that on the list at least.
I will say you should jump on 3 and keep going.
Yeah.
Two, they tried to capitalize, in my opinion, too quickly on 1. And it was rushed and it was bad. 3 recovers. 4 a little bit. And the last one, prior to this new one coming out, was the best, in my opinion. It was fantastic. So yeah, I'd say give it a shot. Jump back on and give it a shot. I think you'll see it rebounds pretty nicely.
It's funny because a little side story. I went when I was in high school, or at least right after I graduated high school, I went and saw Southpaw in the theaters with Jake Gyllenhaal and loved it. It was great. But then I was walking out, and I was walking through the theater to go out of an exit that wasn't the main lobby, and I just saw a whole bunch of people walking into it at the theater. I'm like, fuck it, let's go. So I walk in there, and it's one of the massive theaters, and this before you had assigned seating, so I was like terrified if somebody was going to come in and catch me. But then I had no idea what movie I was about to watch. I was just going in completely blind, and I had never seen any Mission Impossible before, but I think this was Mission Impossible 5. I think so. I sat there and watched Mission Impossible 5, a true back-to-back feature, a double feature. So that was really fun. That's one of my best memories.
Yeah, and who hasn't? We've all done it. We've all been there. We all sneak into a movie. Come on, don't
I
lie.
know.
Don't lie. You know you have. Oh, there's no doubt about it. My number 4 was an Oscar-worthy film, was an Oscar-worthy performance, and really changed the game. This was something unlike anything Tom Cruise had ever done before. This was drastically different. Still a cocky young guy, because he seems to like those characters, but in a manner so drastically different than how we had seen him before. And I'm, of course, talking about Rain Man, the unbelievable film where he's a hotshot car dealer, and he's in some financial trouble, and he finds out that dad died and left a ton of money, but he left it to the brother. Oops. And he tries to swindle his brother Raymond out of the money, who is autistic, and severely autistic, but functional. And he goes with the intention, of course, if you guys don't know this, what the fuck, where have you been? But he goes with the intention of bringing the brother back and basically stealing the money from him. But he falls in love with Ray, and he bonds with him, and he doesn't want to take the money from him anymore, and they figure out a way to make it all work and save the dealership without screwing over Ray. And again, I've said this numerous times, but the thing that we all take away from the movie the most is that Kmart sucks. That's
Kmart
it.
suck.
Kmart sucks, and 97X is the future of rock and roll. If you don't take those two things away from Rain Man, you didn't watch Rain Man. That's all I'm saying, okay? Yeah, my number 4, Rain Man, a classic. I love it. And how many people didn't suit up with their best friend in the same shit, right? Yeah, you know you did. It was another thing. It's like, let's dress alike and go hit an escalator. Doesn't have to be in Vegas, just any fucking where. We'll go in the mall. It'll be great.
Exactly. The counting cards part is probably my favorite.
Yeah.
I absolutely love it. It's a great film that I just watched a couple years ago for the first time, and I'm super glad I did. And I love how other movies like pay tribute to it, like with The Hangover.
Yeah.
With Zach Galifianakis and Bradley Cooper's character. It's one of those classics, man. It's definitely one of those classics. Number 3 for me is definitely one of those classics that I feel like you can't do today, but you can't touch and you can't cancel because it is wild, it's unique, it's out there, but it is amazing. And I'm talking about Tropic Thunder. Okay, Tropic Thunder is absolutely wild. Tom Cruise in this part is absolutely wild because when you think of Tom Cruise, you don't think comedy.
No.
And I guess Ben Stiller didn't even think he was going to get Tom Cruise for this agent type of role. But then he said yes. Tom Cruise said yes because sometimes he does take those chances, like with Rock of Ages.
Yeah.
So I love this film. I love Tom Cruise's part in this film because it's so different, it's so weird, it's so cheesy, it's so sleazy Hollywood. And he has a bald cap on with glasses, and he's fat, and it's hilarious. But
Les Grossman, right? I think that's the name.
Yeah. Ben Stiller, Jack Black, Robert Downey Jr., freaking Tom Cruise. This movie has it all. It is so freaking crazy, and it's one of those, like I said, that is so important to its time, and is so important to the comedy genre because it's something that is on Mount Rushmore of comedies because it's so crazy out there and unapologetic. And that's what we need in the comedy space and in Hollywood in general. But yeah, number 3 for me, Tropic Thunder.
Look, how powerful is Tom Cruise's performance in this film? You listed it as a Tom Cruise film. It's literally a cameo. His role is literally a cameo. It's 5 minutes, and that's all you see him in. But it's so good and so powerful. You list it as a Tom Cruise film.
Have to.
The dancing is it's so over the top. You have to put it. But you're right. What makes it stand out? And it is a hardcore look at sleazy producers. Tom Cruise's Les is a sleazy producer, and it's definitely a slap at the industry. But the whole movie is. It makes fun of mentally challenged people. It makes fun of... Robert Downey Jr. is in blackface. Okay, Let's be honest, this movie would never see the light. It would never get greenlit now. It would be canceled before it even got off the page. It was... So... Yeah, and good luck finding it. If you can find it, you're probably in luck because it's probably been edited and cleaned and chopped. It ain't even the
Right.
same movie anymore. But if you can find an original cut of it, I highly recommend it. My number 3, I tell you what it is, but you can't handle the truth. A Few Good Men. While I didn't list this as my favorite Tom Cruise movie, it probably is my favorite Tom Cruise performance. I just think this is anybody. Keep in mind that this is definitely, in my opinion, the right at the cusp of the peak of Jack Nicholson's career before the fade off. Right, because he started to fade off after this one, started taking less and less roles. He was starting to lose it a little bit after this, but this was like Jack at his best. This is Chinatown Jack. This is like, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, like at his best. And for Tom Cruise, who at that point is still a relatively young actor, to go head to head with him in that courtroom scene should tell you a lot about the acting ability of Tom Cruise. He was not scared. He was not. And it was a masterful scene. The whole movie was masterful. And A Few Good Men. I don't have to tell you the premise. You know it. You've seen it. There's no way you haven't seen it. Just a brilliant, brilliant performance. And that's why I have it on my list as one of my all-time favorite films of Tom Cruise, because it's just so fucking good. I mean,
Yeah, completely agree. I wanted to put that one on my list, but I didn't want to repeat too many of movies that he's done. But yeah, it's so good. Aaron Sorkin's writing, man, it literally makes me
fucking
cry
phenomenal.
because it's so freaking good.
Yeah.
But yeah, great pick, man. Great pick. Number 2 for me is just Maverick entering in the danger zone because I did not grow up in the 80s. I grew up in the early 2000s. I was born in 96. I am now old because I'm 29. But anyway, it's fine. But Maverick, I think this film, one, it saved the blockbusters. It saved the box office during the pandemic. It did record-breaking numbers. It brought people back to the cinemas. So it's a historic, monumental film on that standpoint. But Tom Cruise is now entering in this point in his career and his life where he is the older character, the mentor, not the badass. And that is kind of what this film portrayed. I mean, he's still a badass. I mean, when he gets in that freaking fighter pilot, like you're just like, yeah. But anyway, what this film did for cinephiles, what it did for the massive audience, the public, like basically anyone and everyone who loves going to the theaters to get an adrenaline rush, this film brought it. And it's an amazing story. Teller, Glenn Powell, so many others in this freaking thing. It's just one of my all-time favorites, so I had to put that in there. But yeah, number 2 for me, Maverick, and I know you're piggybacking off of it as well.
Top Gun / Top Gun Maverick. Because for me, it's all one story. And Maverick, they were so smart with Maverick. Everything that worked for Top Gun, you know the old saying, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Maverick is Top Gun set in later years. The opening sequence is the same. The beach volleyball / football scene is the same. The music is the same. Everything, it was whatever worked in the first one, they put in the second one, yet somehow continued the story successfully. And it was just brilliant. And one of my favorite moments is the realization that Iceman is the one helping him behind the scenes. It's a touching send-off to Val Kilmer. And their friendship in real life. It's just a beautiful movie and a huge continuation of the original. So I had to lump them together as all one movie. But my number 2, Top Gun / Top Gun Maverick, definitely both outstanding films. And if you haven't seen them, the fuck? See them. They're fantastic. And a third one is coming. It is in development, so they say, from Tom Cruise and Glenn Powell. So we'll see.
That's right, man. That's right. And my number 1 film goes to Show Me the Money, Jerry Maguire, man. I just watched this one maybe 6 or 7 years ago.
So
for the
good.
First time. And like, this is peak, like, prime time Tom Cruise, like in prime of his life, prime of his career, before like he is like on top of the world, but he is a face and a name that everyone knows. I mean, him and Renee Zellweger and Cuba Gooding Jr. in this film are absolutely amazing. And then, let's be honest about it. It's an underdog story.
It
An
is.
agent who basically like got fired or left his agency and went independent and tried to continue building his legacy, his empire, and to continue moving forward in the sports industry, but while also having a love story behind it as well. It was really good. I love the dynamic between him and Renee when it comes to like just trying to balance each other's work and home life and trying to realize who each other is before like getting too far into something. But then, of course, you fall in love. There's a happy ending. It's a beautiful thing. But yeah, I mean, there's so many quotables in this movie, and like, I feel like this movie is very inspiring for people who are chasing a dream because it does show you the pitfalls, but then it does show you the highs, the successes, the the amount of work that you put into it and being able to get that gratification at the end of all your hard work. And I think that's what this film did beautifully. So yeah, number one for me, Jerry Maguire.
Yeah, this film is the epitome of risk. It's
Yeah.
all about taking a risk, taking the leap, and knowing that the net will appear, that you're going to be okay. And that's exactly what that movie was. And yeah, it's a phenomenal movie. Phenomenal movie. My number one is a beautiful film from start to finish. This is a filmmaker's dream visually. My number one, it remains the same. It will never change. It will always be my favorite Tom Cruise movie, The Last Samurai. It's basically about a captured Civil War captain who goes over to Japan and gets captured. And his purpose was he was there to train the Japanese military on how to use modern weaponry, guns, okay? Because this movie is about the fall of ancient Japan and the westernization of Japan. The new young emperor wants to move into the 20th century. He wants to, modernize Japan, move away from the dynasty type system, if you will. And it is an epic war between the last of the samurai and the Japanese army. And Tom Cruise's character, after being captured, learns the culture of the samurai, the way of the samurai in ancient Japan and what it means and where the country came from and all this. It was Shogun before Shogun, put it that way. It's beautiful cinematography. It's beautiful acting. It's visually... You can watch this movie without a single word of dialogue and understand everything you need to understand. And basically, Tom Cruise's character flips. And instead of training the army, helps the samurai fight off the war. They lose brutally in the end. Shocker. Gatling machine guns will outdo swords every time. But it's an epic battle. It's just... I love this movie. I love the ancient Japanese culture. I love what they stand for and how they do things and the pride they take in the way they live their lives and their belief systems and stuff. And this is just peak. I as a filmmaker, like I said, I can't rant enough about this movie. It's so beautiful. Go and watch it. It's just epic scenery and just love this movie. It'll always be my favorite. Last Samurai.
Yes, that's right. That's right. Still need to watch that one.
You'll love it. Trust me, you'll love it. So
For
good.
sure. But we want to know, what is your favorite Tom Cruise film? Be sure to comment below in the comment section, on Twitter, X, Threads, all the good places. Please be sure to do that. We love the fan interaction. Please let us know your favorite Tom Cruise film. Now we're heading over to the box office recap, where Final Destination Bloodlines came in at number one, the biggest in franchise history.
Yes.
With their overall haul. It came in with $51.7 million on its opening weekend. Thunderbolt still hanging in strong at the number 2 spot with $17 million. Sinners still doing pretty well as well with $15 million. Minecraft Movie at 5.9 in the 4th spot. And then The Accountant 2 with $5 million in the 5th spot. And then, of course, the new movies that are coming out for this big Memorial Day weekend, Lilo and Stitch. Hi-yo, hi-yo, hi-yo. That's probably cultural appropriation, but I'm sorry. And then Mission Impossible, The Final Reckoning. So be sure to do a double feature this weekend and help the theaters out, help the entertainment industry out, and enjoy time with your family. That's for sure. My favorite pastime being in a black room watching a movie where nobody's talking to each other. It's great. My great
quality family time.
That's right. That's right. That's how we celebrate.
That's right.
Movies you can still go see right now. Hurry up tomorrow. I've heard not so good
Don't
things.
go
Hurry
see
up
it.
And don't.
You can go see it. Don't. Do yourselves a favor. You will be kicking yourself in the ass if you spend any money on that movie. Do not go see it.
That makes sense. That makes sense. Until Dawn, The Amateur, Warfare, and Clown in the Cornfield, and then all the other ones that I listed above. And then, of course, the IMDb Pro's Top Trending segment. The top trending movie is Final Destination Bloodlines. Everybody's talking about it, which makes sense. I went back and started watching the original, so that's fun. Top trending TV show is Andor. Looks like season 2 is still going to be critically acclaimed, where people enjoy it, so that's awesome. And then Isabella Marced is the top trending star this week on the IMDb Pro's Top Trending segment.
Yes.
But we have to thank our guest one more time, Rhiannon Fish, for coming back on the show and getting crazy with us, talking all about her career, mental health, and having a great conversation. Really freaking appreciate that. Be sure to follow her on Instagram, Twitter, Threads, wherever she's at. Please be sure to do so. And then you guys know you can follow us at Crazy Ant Media, the company page. The podcast page is at ITCAFpodcast. Our mental health podcast is at Everything's OKP. We just had a new episode come out last week that was all about aging. So be sure to check that one out. And then you guys know you can follow us both personally on social media. Myself at J Logan Austin, and then
at Crazy Ant CEO.
That's right, man. That's right. And then, of course, you know you can subscribe to this podcast, our other podcasts on all podcast platforms like Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play Music, iHeartRadio, Podbean, Stitcher, and so much more. And then if you're watching our videos on YouTube, thank you. Be sure to hit that like button below, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell for all the latest and greatest notifications coming out of Crazy Ant Media. Be sure to watch the videos on YouTube, guys, and on Spotify, because we upload the videos as well. We do a lot of time decorating our sets, decorating our offices, and we're fun. We're awesome.
Yes!
Be sure to watch it. That's right. And be sure to visit our website, www.crazyantmedia.com, where you can start rocking the latest and greatest Crazy Ant Media gear. We got a little bit of something for a little bit of everyone. And, of course, get to know us a little bit better, our projects, all the good things at our website. Please be sure to do so. But, man, oh, man, it was a great freaking week for entertainment news. A lot of good stuff coming out. I really did not know about Dune and Doomsday. That is wild. That's going to be massive. I hope that will bring in great numbers for the theaters, because the theaters are struggling and they need help.
That would be my hope also, but I'm sticking to my prediction. I think Warner Brothers will back off and move it. I don't think they want to go head to head with Doomsday. I don't. So we'll see. We'll see if I'm right. But yeah, it's interesting. I love all the shifts. I love Disney trying to make sure they get it right. You know, it's important because the box office does need it. And, yeah, man, I just, what an interesting week for news, but I'm pumped. A lot of good stuff coming. And, just hang tight. And it's going to be a fun ride, I think, during the summer for the next couple of years, really.
Yeah, that's what it feels like, man. That's what it absolutely feels like. But I mean, you know, we need to see more movies with this person in them, because it's been a while.
It has been.
Really, I mean, she produced The Color Purple.
She did,
which we saw. I mean, well, you know, very good, very good. But she needs to be in more. Okay, A Wrinkle in Time is the reason why we started doing this, and she's great. We love the one, the only Oprah.